Welcome to the Guide to AAIC series. These guides are meant to help you put your best foot forward as you think about your submissions to the Alzheimer's Association International Conference and to prepare you for the best experience at the conference. Today, we're going to talk about the different types of sessions that you can submit to AAIC. The first type of session is the perspective sessions. Perspective sessions provide an expert review of the recent advances and propose a roadmap for the future, so should incorporate multiple viewpoints to stimulate original discussion and debate amongst the attendees. Each presenter can submit an unstructured abstract, so these may or may not contain new data. You can think about the chairs of the perspective sessions as similar to senior authors of a review paper. So those chairs might invite presenting authors to prepare individual sections of a review. Featured research sessions, on the other hand, debut new and innovative, impactful research findings. So they should bring together multiple studies that have a common focus, and each presenter should submit a structured abstract that does have new data. The chairs of the featured research session can be considered similar to journal editors for a special issue. So they may invite presenting authors to find the latest study findings from their labs and their areas of work. And all sessions should interest and engage the core audience of AAIC and the field and the topic being discussed, with perspective sessions also offering a somewhat accessible entry point for attendees who are not experts in your specialty. Another session type is clinical toolbox. So these sessions are really tailored to the clinical audience at AAIC. For clinical toolbox, each presenter can submit an unstructured abstract that may or may not contain new data. But while perspectives and featured research sessions showcase research findings and where the field is heading, clinical toolbox sessions provide educational takeaways that will inform current clinical practice. So really tailored to that clinical audience at AAIC. Across all of these sessions, there are some standard parameters you would need to work within. So all sessions are 90 minutes in length, have 2 chairs, and can have anything from 4 to 6 presenters. Now, depending on how many presenters there are, it may change the length of how long each presenter will have. But each presenter will have to submit an original, update, or encore abstract. And these abstract types are also explained in more detail in our Guide to Abstracts session as well. And unless the topic demands, the session should be diverse in terms of the demographics of the presenters across all session types. In terms of submission, a session organizer may initiate a proposal and then enter the session details overall, including telling us who each presenter will be, and then each presenter will receive a link to complete their abstract. So this means that one person has to bring together different presenters, and then those presenters should be ready to enter their individual abstract details. There is a deadline for these submissions, which you can find online at alz.org/AAIC. And a special note that ISTAART members, so members of our professional society, will have an extended deadline for them. And any one person within the session can use that member benefit to use the extended time for submission as well. It's really important, though, that you build in time for your abstracts to be shared with each other in your session and feedback to be provided by everybody well before the deadline, as there are strictly no extensions to the AAIC deadline. In terms of a format, the abstract, if accepted, can be presented either in person or virtually, because AAIC is a hybrid conference. And that means attendees can also see the sessions in person or virtually. Each chair and presenter can also attend either in person or virtually, and we can also do sessions where it's a combination of both, because we recognize that not everybody may be able to travel to AAIC for a number of reasons. If travel support is the limiting factor, we do encourage individual presenters when they enter their abstracts to request a conference fellowship. We support many of these fellowships across the board with different priority given to those who need it the most, for example, for those early in their career, for those in low and middle income countries. But details on conference fellowships are also outlined in a separate guide to conference fellowships, which we encourage you to watch as well. All abstracts, of course, are peer-reviewed, and peer reviewers will consider the scientific interest and quality of the science that is submitted and assign a score between 1 to 4. They'll assign these scores for each abstract individually for sessions. And it's important to note that if you do submit an abstract within an FRS with no results, it is not likely to score very highly, so may affect your session. The session as a whole is then also scored for importance and timeliness of the topic, cohesiveness and balance of the abstracts, and the stature and balance of the chairs and presenters as well, to make sure that you are indeed presenting the best of the science in a balanced way. These are then passed to the Scientific Program Committee, or the SPC, to then consider further for how it is placed in the program. The Executive Committee of the Scientific Program then looks at the peer review scores. They also look at balance in terms of scientific focus and the demographics, and then decide whether to accept or place the proposal and place it in the program, or to repurpose it in a different way. And this kind of schematic shows you how that is decided. So the sessions are either accepted, and those that are not accepted for placement in the program as a session are then transferred to the individual abstract pool. This pool is then once again reconsidered for an individual oral presentation, a poster presentation, or rejected, again based on the criteria that we outlined in our guide to abstracts. There is no need to submit an abstract twice to be considered for a session as well as an individual presentation. It's important then that your session title and overview is accessible to the audience. So it should be understandable to pass on knowledge to the audience. So make sure you review any terminology that may be jargon that's specific to your area of interest, and only include necessary details. The session should be engaging and attract the main audience's interest and really tell a story. So think about what that story is going to be in a unified way across all of your abstracts, and remove any unnecessary details. What we know the science you do has a lot of details that are necessary for individuals to know about. For the sessions, it is important to kind of give that storytelling view and a broad big picture as well. And ultimately, the takeaway should be that they change the way they think or work. So make sure you have a good take-home message and a call to action for those who are walking away from the overall session. Each session will have 2 session chairs, and they are responsible for keeping the tone and keeping the session to time and moderating the discussion as well. An individual can be both a session chair and a presenter, so they could have submitted an abstract within their session as well. And each presenter at AAIC is only limited to 1 oral presentation across plenary, perspectives, featured research sessions, and other sessions, because we want to make sure that as many people as possible get that podium time at our conference. If a presenting author is selected twice, so you can submit as many abstracts as you like, but if you're selected twice, you may be asked to pass one on to a co-author. It's important, again, just as a reminder, to have gender balance of institutions, countries, and so on, as well as career stage, so that we're bringing a broad view across the session that you're proposing, because that will also then be seen by the SPC favorably, because you're bringing a balanced view of the science and a global view as well. Our professional society, ISTAART, has a number of professional interest areas as well. And peers also come together and are an integral part of AAIC. They can propose a number of sessions. There's no limit to how many they want to propose, and these are usually curated by the Executive Committee, or the EC, who may choose a topic and invite presenters, or invite members as well to submit abstracts that they may choose to curate a session and submit it before the deadline. It's also encouraged that these peers are also encouraged to work across different interest areas as well, to submit collaborative cross-peer submissions as well. But there is no guarantee that a peer session will be accepted, because each submission is judged amongst a pool of all submitted sessions and independently on its scientific merit. If unsuccessful, these proposals can also be repurposed for things like debates at our peer day, which happens before AAIC, or deep dives that some peers do as well, or can also be considered as a framework for a paper submission, or to submit to another conference as well. And speaking of ISTAART, we do encourage you to join the International Society to Advance Alzheimer's Research and Treatment, because you can not only engage with your professional interest areas or peers, but you also do get that extended submission deadline as well. Thank you very much, and best of luck with your submission.